Hello, I'm Chintek and I'm happily married to Caroline for about 19 years this year.
Hello, I'm Caroline. I am a church worker and I'm also a prayer minister in our prayer ministry.
Today, I'm going to ask you some questions regarding sex and Christianity.
Oh, right question to ask us. We are happily married for 19 years. We sure can answer such questions.
Here's the first question.
Okay, this seems like an easy one. Doesn't Christianity have a negative view of sex?
Isn't procreation supposed to be a good thing? So why is it negative?
Well, I think that Christianity doesn't have a negative view of sex, but rather a negative view of sexual immorality. In fact, I believe that the Bible has a very high regard of sex. Wow, this one is difficult.
The Christian position on sex seems boring. So can Christians have great sex? What do you think?
What I think? Okay, I hardly recall the Bible referencing to sex as boring. Perhaps more exciting if you take your time to read the Song of Songs.
How exciting?
How exciting? Tonight you know. Wow, this is an interesting one. How far is too far? Well, I think this is a wrong question to ask. Basically, you're asking how far I can go before I sin against God. I think the better question to ask is how near I need to stay on the side of purity in order to be honorable to both God and man, if you truly understand the grace of God.
Alright, so here goes. What's wrong with pornography? No one gets hurt.
Well, research has shown that your mind and your perspective of the opposite sex really get hurt badly, and it really messes with your brain.
Yeah, I think I read it somewhere as well, how pornography affects the brain because it causes certain chemicals that stimulates the mind. It retains the memory and the experience when watching porn. It will affect the marital relationships and causing the marital relationship and sexual relationship to be extreme.
Is it wrong for someone to experience the same-sex attraction? Now, I think whether is it same-sex attraction or opposite-sex attraction is not the key point. But rather, you act upon the attraction and it causes you to do something that you know is instinctively wrong. And I think that should be your guiding principle. What do you think, Carol?
Yeah, I think that if you do something that you know that God tells us not to do, that itself is wrong. For example, let's say in a sexual, or rather when you're attracted to an opposite gender, and this attraction actually turns into a lust, I would think that would be wrong. So, and Bible says also that we should take captive of every thought before it turns into a sinful nature, a sinful desire. Okay.
Must I say single forever if I'm attracted to the same sex? What do you think, Carol?
I think that sexuality is like a longing for a relationship. And I also believe that this longing can be fulfilled by God. So if someone is really attracted to the same gender, I really think that it may be good to abstain from all form of relationship so that God can come in and to allow Him to bring wholeness, restoration and healing to the person. What do you think?
Well, I may not be an expert in this area, but I've heard of folks with initial same-sex attraction but managed to develop opposite-sex attraction with God's help and eventually got happily married.